Maybe it's because the screen is up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We got the two thumbs up over in the corner. I feel like I got a little echo.
We can hear you.
I think that might be. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing today?
Good morning.
So I got a pretty big announcement for y'all in just a little bit. I know you've been anxiously awaiting the arrival of our executive chef, so I'm going to introduce her in just a minute. Before I get into that, just wanted to reach out. Is this anybody's first time with us today in a town hall? Okay, welcome. So welcome. I do town halls once a month. It's usually the fourth Thursday of the month. So generally I have a PowerPoint presentation. We tape it and then replay it on the channel, the in-house TV channel. In the past, we also played it live, but we're having a few challenges with the camera. So for now, it's going to be taped, replayed, but eventually we'll go back to having a live town hall as well. So, and then on the second Thursday of the month, I do a mingle, what I call a mingle with Mike, which is just really me providing updates, sharing updates about the community, what's going on within the community. And then it becomes more of an open mic conversation, question and answer session. So that's very well attended as well. So I try to do two really nice communications with the members each month. So, so I think the last meeting, which might have been either the town hall or maybe with Mike, we had a lot of information about dining. And we're gonna continue with a similar kind of presentation and follow up with some of the changes that took place. But before I jump into that, let me get into the agenda because we're not gonna jump right into dining. We're gonna change it up a little bit. So for today's agenda, actually I think I'm a little backwards here on my agenda, but I'm gonna actually open it up with Jessica and invite her up in just a minute, and then we're gonna talk about IT tech support. Caleb is with us, specifically the next phase of rolling out that program, and that next phase is really geared towards the resident experience. So we're gonna talk about what that looks like for residents, for IT tech support, and then we're gonna jump into dining. We're gonna do a deeper dive into the online ordering. We'll talk about some of the positive aspects that have been taking place with online ordering. We'll jump into some of the challenges and some of the solutions. And then we'll talk about reservations, because that's another big change that took place over the last couple of weeks, where we changed the timing around reservations. We changed how reservations are being taken, dining versus the concierge desk. And then something that's going to be coming in the near future, which is online reservations. So with that said, we had been on this journey for about 12 weeks looking for an executive chef, and we just didn't feel like we could find the right fit. And then along came an applicant by the name of Jessica Spires, and we were really intrigued by her resume and her accomplishments, and decided to bring her in for an interview. And then once we brought her in for an interview, I really felt in my heart that she really had a passion for what she does, and that's really, really important in the culinary field. A passion for what she does in the kitchen, but also a passion to serve. So she has some experiences in another continuing care retirement community. So I believe there's two really key components with passion, right? passion to do her work and then passion to serve residents. And I think when you combine those two, anything's possible. A lot of energy comes out of that. So, and then she came in and did her chef test and wowed us at the chef table. So she did a really great job with that. And it wasn't soon after we actually said, hey, we're gonna make Jessica an offer, and she accepted, and she's with us today. She actually started yesterday. So I'd like to formally introduce you to Jessica Spires, our new executive chef, and I'm gonna invite her up, Jessica, to say a few words. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How is everybody today? Can you hear me? Yes? No? Hello? Okay, there we go. My name is Jessica Spires. I'm originally from Michigan. I grew up in Lansing, Michigan. I went to culinary school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I went to Le Cordon Bleu. That's where I met my husband. That was 20 years ago. Shortly after that, my husband joined the military, and so we have traveled around. I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, where I worked at a 5-diamond, 5-star restaurant. From there, we moved to Washington, D.C., where he worked at the Old Guard at Arlington Cemetery. And I worked at a Michelin star restaurant. So I have a lot of fine dining restaurant experience. From there, we moved, then I worked at a retirement facility in Parksville, Tennessee as a sous chef for about 3 years. And I really, really enjoyed that. From there, we moved to Savannah. We've been here about 9 years. I have a 17-year-old daughter who graduates high school this year and a 12-year-old son. They keep me busy, but they're great kids. My husband is 1 year from retiring from the military, so we're gonna move up closer to here because right now we're in Savannah. I worked at Savannah Square, which is a retirement facility in Savannah for about 4 years as the food and beverage director. I really loved it. I got to know my residents, my club members. I think they enjoyed my nightly specials, my interaction with them, and I really focused on getting to know every single one of them and what they love. My passion is food. I love to serve. I love to cook. I love to eat. So does my husband. I met him, he was 160 pounds. Now he's like 240. So, but I love what I do, and I look forward to meeting all of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jessica. She is so anxious to get in the kitchen. I have to hold her back. She goes, where's the kitchen? Where's the kitchen? So I gotta hold her back a little bit. Just wanna get some foundation set for her so you're successful, but you'll see her floating in the dining room meeting you all. You're gonna see her back in the kitchen from time to time over the next couple weeks, but I do need to spend some time with her, so give her just a little bit of breathing room. But she's gonna get immersed really quick. So super excited to have you on board. I know the kitchen is as well, and I know Zoran's happy to have a partner. So our dining committee as well. So I'm gonna jump into the resident internet technology components. And as you're well aware, we hired an IT tech coordinator, and it just happened to be somebody who's already working here, Caleb. So Caleb is with us today. It really just made so much sense because he's been so involved with you all and so involved with the corporate team and so involved with the employee experience as well. So it's somewhat of a no-brainer, but we still needed to go through the motion and do the interview process. And so right after we introduced him about a month ago, he was still in engineering. So officially he moved into his position on February 10th. It's really only been a couple weeks for him in his position. And since February 10th, we've had some of our corporate team come out and onboard Caleb, really about what his role is in regards to updating our systems throughout the community. And then we've also rolled out what the employee experience looks like. And for the employee, they need to submit a ticket every time they need work done on their computer. And that's generally what you'll see with IT tech positions. There's a ticket system. So we got that underway, and then the next component is gonna be the resident experience, the member experience, and what that looks like for you. So that's what I'm gonna share with you now. So, and what I'm sharing on the screen, you will get in print. So that's gonna be a handout for you. There'll be some additional information on the app. I'm gonna step back here a little bit and get out of your way so you can see that. So for the member experience, which we're gonna roll out soon, and I'll give you a date when that's gonna be official. We're gonna be offering what we call clinics or in-home setup. So I'll go into that in just a little bit. There'll be some training opportunities, troubleshooting on personal devices, including but not limited to smartphones, tablets, or iPads and laptops. And then services provided, we're gonna offer the in-person clinics or home setup for training and troubleshooting personal devices, including but not limited to smartphones, tablets, iPads, and laptops. So I'm going to go into the clinic and the in-home setup or the in-home business in just a minute. But this is the overarching vision for how Caleb's going to be able to support members. So essentially, most personal devices, and you know, if you have a desktop at home, he'll be able to support that as well. But there's going to be some limitations in terms of what we can support and what we're not going to be able to support, and I'll share that in just a minute. So I had mentioned clinics. So as the program gets rolled out, while you might know Caleb, he wants to really get to know you and better understand your needs. So we are going to be opening up some what we call tech clinics. And they're going to be scheduled, and you're going to be able to sign up for them, and they're going to be sort of like a walk-in clinic where you're going to be able to have a scheduled time. You'll be able to come in, you'll be able to talk to Caleb, explain what challenges you might be having or what you're planning to do, and then you can sort of take it from there. Or it might just be a something simple with your phone. I'm having trouble staying logged into the app, and you might be able to clear the cache for you or something like that. Or you might say, hey, I'm looking to update my system in about 2 months. What does that look like or feel like for me? And he'll be able to explain a little bit about that experience. So these are really intended to be more information sharing or low-level fixes regarding some of the equipment that you have. The sign-ups will be first come, first served. You're gonna have forms on the app. I'll show you exactly where to go in just a minute. There'll be a 15-minute time limit for you to be able to share, talk to Caleb. And that we're gonna be sharing the date, the hours, the location, and sign-up information very soon. And those clinics will start the week of March 10th. So what we're thinking is initially we're gonna do some clinics, and then we'll see how if participation continues. If it does, we'll continue with some clinics. If participation wanes off, then we'll stop the clinics. But there might not be a need for clinics, and it might be more of just connecting with him more one-on-one. So those clinics are gonna start on March 10th. More information coming on that. And then if you need an in-home appointment, or if you have some of these needs, this is actually where you're gonna need an in-home appointment. And it's gonna be required for desktop computers, obviously, because it's gonna be in your home. Printers, scanners, fax machines, these are generally larger pieces of equipment in your home Wi-Fi networks, or voice assist devices. So that is where his focus is gonna be when this program gets rolled out. However, he's not gonna be working on some of the other components, as you can see under exclusions, and there's reasons behind that. So health-related financial data, personal passwords, these are all really personal protected information for you, and we wanna keep it that way. That's important for you. If there's something that where data could potentially be lost or damaged, and Caleb would share that with you, such as the total system went down and you need to maybe take it to, there needs to be a higher level, somebody has additional equipment like external hard drives to be able to push all that information onto an external hard drive before the whole system can be cleaned up. We're not gonna be doing that at this time. Vendor-related issues with Amazon or Hotwire, which happens from time to time, you would have to reach out to those vendors directly. Doesn't happen often. Matter of fact, I don't think it's ever happened for me in terms of an Amazon issue. It's usually a password reset, and then they'll send you an email to get everything reset. And we won't be working on medical or assistive devices. So that's somewhat out of the scope of what his role is going to be. So this is the core of what's going to be taking place for in-home visits. So say you need to set up an in-home visit, what does that look like? To schedule an in-home visit, there's going to be a form available in the work order icon on the app. So in that icon, you can submit a weight maintenance work order. There's also going to be another line for a IT work order. So you just log into the app, go to the icon, go into that form, fill it out, and submit it. And when it gets submitted, it will go directly to Caleb. And this is going to be the fastest and most efficient way to send your request, because you'll be able to give them some information in terms of what the challenges are. So the reason that we want to go through this system to submit a request is there's going to be multiple requests coming in. And so Caleb's going to need to be able to take all the requests, in addition to the employee requests that he might have or corporate initiatives that are going on, and get everything lined up in a queue to be able to address it for you and the team. And lots of times, when you have an IT issue, it's really based on priority. So emergent issues. So as an example, if you have a desktop issue, you want to load some new software and you submit a request, and that comes in and Caleb gets you all queued up, and then all of a sudden the internet goes down here for a couple hours, he's probably going to focus on that and call you up and say, I need to push you back, those kind of things. If for some reason you need help with this process, then our lifestyle team's available to assist you. And I believe I shared this before, if you do require an in-home visit or appointment, there will be a charge for that. So it's a fair charge. I don't know if I have that with me, but $15 for 15 minutes? $15 for 15-minute increments. So you need 15 minutes then, or 30 minutes, whatever it is. So you'll find that it's reasonable compared to our outside competitors. And it's really meant like Geek Squad, I guess is one of them. Okay. So everything's going to go live on Monday, March 10th. So on Monday, March 10th, you'll be able to go into the work order app. If you have a concern, you'll be able to submit a request through the work order icon, You'll be able to submit an IT request. The week of March 10th, you're going to find that we're going to have some clinics, or at least one clinic set up that week. You'll be able to go into the app, you'll be able to sign up for the clinic. If we find that there's stronger demand than we initially anticipated for the clinics, then we'll add more clinics in. And that might be the case when we first open up. Everybody might have a need or an issue or a concern. But on the 10th, so we're just a few weeks away from actually pulling the trigger on that, opening that up, and getting Caleb involved with any resident concerns that you may have. So some of you might say, well, what if I have a TV issue? What do I do? So for TVs, anything Spectrum related, if you have a TV, just submit a work order through maintenance like you have been, and we'll follow the same process. If for some reason that issue is a larger issue than our maintenance team can deal with, we might need to pull Caleb in, and he might need to troubleshoot and work with Spectrum on the issue. I've seen that happen from time to time, but generally TV issues, Spectrum related issues are still going to fall under maintenance. Okay? Yes, sir.
Michael, just a quick question. Am I right to assume this would apply to both Apple and PC computers?
Yeah, he'll work on PCs, whatever the make, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna head into dining updates. And I would just ask, there's a lot of information I want to share, and we're also going to do another tutorial about online ordering. There's still got a lot of information I want to share, so I would just ask that as we go through, please hold your questions to the end. Let us get through the information, just hold on to that question, write it down, jot it down, and then we'll get to questions at the end. Okay. So I don't even think it's been a full 2 weeks yet that we've made quite a few changes in the dining program, reservation systems, to-go ordering, changed the time that we opened up with dining, changed the time that we opened up with happy hour, relaunched, so to speak, our continental breakfast in the morning from fully served to self-serve. So there's been a lot of changes in our dining program over the last couple of weeks, and best laid plans. Really our best intentions as we head into these things is really to have it as seamless as possible for you. But anybody that's been in operations and managing teams knows that sometimes it doesn't always go as planned. So when it doesn't always go as planned, we're always going to ask for feedback. We're gonna bob and weave, and we're gonna make changes. We're gonna adapt. That's what we're going to do as we navigate through some of these challenges, to get us all to a better spot, not only from a resident experience, but also a dining experience, overall dining experience. So
Can I give you some feedback now?
if you could just hold that.
I just want to say one thing. I put it on my, later. Oh,
That's what he said, later,
right. And I didn't follow the directions.
follow directions.
All right, just hold on to that one.
Yeah.
All right, so to go online orders. So if I could just focus on a few of some of the positive feedback that we've received about the to-go online orders. So if you remember, just a few weeks ago before we rolled out the changes, everything was sort of going through the concierge desk. And then when I shared the changes that were going to be taking place, there's 3 ways that you can do online order to-go orders. One is the online app, another was to pick up a menu and fill it out, and then another was to call, and there was a specific time frame. So some of the positive things that have come out of the online orders, and some of these you might not have felt or seen, is there is a streamlined process now that we're experiencing, particularly within the dining team and the culinary team. Once these orders are put into the system and fired off to the kitchen, allowing them to gain some efficiencies with the packaging process. So we have seen that in the back of the house. We've also seen the ability because the system is intuitive, the online system is intuitive, it allows us to quickly input orders. If we're taking it verbally, if you're calling in with an order, we can put it in fairly quickly. And this does, believe it or not, reduce errors and increase overall productivity. So anytime you have technology advances, generally you're going to see some increases in productivity and efficiency. Right? So, and then we have received some positive feedback from members about the process and the system and how much they love it, although not all the members have shared that. So, but some members, and I don't have a percentage for you, have shared that they love it and it actually helps with their efficiency through the day. So, along with the positives comes the challenges. So, what are some of the challenges that we're hearing? So, some members have shared there's some complex navigation. It's more complex than they thought. It's maybe just a little bit too much, too quick for some of our members, leading to confusion when entering the orders. And also that dollar amount that shows up when you're putting food items in your basket. It's like, what is that for? And what am I doing? What's happening here? I thought it was a meal credit system. So, and it's not. The dollar amount is in there because there's almost like even though we're on a meal credit system, the system is used in a variety of communities and some of those communities have what they call a declining balance. So instead of 30 meal credits, you might get $300 a month, so to speak. And you use that as a declining balance. So it pulls dollars away out of your bank account. So we use the meal credit system here. And then we've identified some training opportunities, some gaps, not only from the employee side, but also we're experiencing some from the member side. So, for example, some members will go through and identify the item that they want to eat, but it's not being clicked and added to the cart. So think Amazon here. I need this from Amazon, a lot of different selections. This is the one I want. Hey, I click add the cart, it goes in your cart for checkout. So some of those steps are being missed. Hitting the submit button at times is being missed in some cases. So you might have added it to the cart, but then the submit button wasn't hit. Special instructions for to-go orders, opportunities for some additional training around that. And we'll talk a little bit about that additional training. So we're seeing some opportunities there. Now, I would say that I was talking to a member the other day, share that she put it in the cart, share that she hit submit and has an email to verify. But when we went into the system, what she thought was done wasn't actually done because there weren't items in the cart, but she did hit submit. She got an email recognizing the order was submitted, but there was nothing in the order. So when she came down to pick it up, obviously there was a level of frustration and our team really made it happen to get her food. But so sometimes those things are happening, but also we're seeing some technical glitches within the system. I can't give you an exact percentage, but I would say less than 5%. And when Zoran comes up, he's going to walk through the process. Maybe you can share what you're hearing about technical glitches. So there's some of the challenges that we're facing with to-go orders. Now I have shared this a little bit along the way, but let me dive in a little bit deeper in terms of some of the reasons that your order might not come through. I just recently shared, and these are like if you took if we had tracked every order that didn't come through properly, these would probably be the top 3 or 4 items that we're seeing. The food selection was not added to the cart, or the cart was not submitted. Talked about the glitches. They're rare, but we are seeing them. And then there's the human factor. So, and we can start with employees, the human factor for employees. So, in some cases, members are picking up orders that aren't fully completed. So we're scratching our head around this, because the system, the previous system where everything was handwritten, we didn't have a lot of challenges with food not getting in bags if it was ordered, but we're experiencing some different challenges from the staffing standpoint, and it could be the way the tickets are printed, or maybe they're not, the ink isn't dark enough, or they're not checking the boxes, but we are seeing some concerns related to everything getting in the bag from the employee standpoint. But then the human factor is the other component, and this is all new for a lot of folks. So there is going to be a learning curve, and we're going to continue to work with the system and work with you to get as much information to you as many times as you need it so you're more comfortable doing that. And actually, Joy, we set for today. If somebody wants to stay after today, if you want a little help after this meeting today, we're going to have some folks available to help walk you through the system. So there's some of the main factors that we are seeing that your food might not be prepared, or you might not get all your food that was ordered. So some of the lessons learned. So yesterday I found out about this one. So if you are in your app, say it's a couple or even yourself, you're in your app and you don't fully X out of that, and then when you and then you pull up the app again, so you're in the full count portion of the app. You don't close out a full count. You close the app altogether. When you come back in, it could potentially take you back to the last screen that you had. Sometimes you see that on your phone, right? You don't fully close things out and it pulls you right back. It's like, how do I get out of here? So when you're done your order, close, X out of that full count app to close it, so that when you go in and place another order, that everything will be refreshed and not pulling old data. If you're a couple, you have to order separately, husband and wife. So you would go in and order for yourself, put everything in for yourself, add it to the cart, and then you would pull up your spouse's name, and then you would start a fresh order under your spouse's name. So you essentially are having two orders there. And as you can see on the third bullet down, after the first spouse has everything in the cart submitted for the first member, and then, submitted, yeah, Zoran's going to go through it, and then add the second member to do the same. We're asking the staff to double check orders for accuracy. I would encourage you, as you come down and pick up your order, glance in there, double check just to make sure you got everything. The last thing we want is you to get home and not have everything that you ordered. So we haven't asked that in the past, but I think where we are right now, if you could just do that, just to double check, triple check, I guess. We definitely are seeing some educational opportunities both front and for the staff. And we've heard from members that, hey, I think it would be good to have additional opportunities for us to walk through this system as well. And if you do run into concerns, we just want to make sure you have a resource. Zoran has been a great resource, but also the lifestyle team is available as well to help you and support you with any concerns. So that's sort of where we are on to-goes. Positive things, definitely seeing some opportunities, lessons learned, and we're taking those lessons learned and we're actually, coming through with some additional training opportunities and double checking bags for accuracy, etc. I'm sure I'm going to get some questions on that at the end, so make sure you jot them down. And then shifting into reservations, sort of the same. We're seeing some positive things from the change in reservations. So some of that is really around the dining team having control of that. There were some challenges because the communication, there's always opportunities for communication between the concierge and the dining team. Sometimes that wasn't as consistent as we would have liked. With the dining team fully owning the reservation process, it does give them more control and flexibility. And I think with the reservation process in terms of sort of expanding the seating times from 15-minute windows to 20-minute windows, we've been able to improve some operational flow, efficiency, and I'm hoping that you actually are feeling that as well. Just a little bit more time, it's not as rushed. We're able to optimize the reservation times, pretty much reducing reservation stress. So when I was rolling out or talking about it a couple weeks ago, I was sharing with you, there is a tendency based on some of our events that take place here that have a lot of reservations right around the 6:30, 7 o'clock time frame. And we were seeing so much pressure in the kitchen that it would slow up the process and actually slow up your experience in the dining room. And that's why we went to the 20-minute window. It's really geared towards a better dining experience for you, give the kitchen, the dining staff, the time that was needed to get tableside, get your order, get it into the system correctly, this is a journey for us, and we still have ways to go. But I just been talking with Zoran over the last couple weeks, feel that 20-minute window versus the 15 has really been helpful for us. We've also experienced some challenges and received some feedback about the reservation process. And this is what we're hearing. Difficulty getting through the phone, on that window. And I would say that the first week, particularly the first 2 to 3 days, I probably heard more regarding this than most recently. Over the weekend, I was manager on duty on Sunday. I heard from some members that on Sunday it was difficult to get through. And I'll share with you what the plan was. So you might have seen Loretta with a phone, carrying a phone. If you come down for continental breakfast, she carries a sort of a handheld phone. So if you call early in the morning up till 9:30 in the morning, you're gonna have the dining server that oversees and restocks the continental breakfast. She's gonna be taking your order. She's gonna step away, she's gonna take your order, has everything right set up right in the private dining room. At 9:30, we then have additional staff that come in that man the reservation line from 10 to 2, which is also our to-go order line. And that's where we had initially seen some challenges. But there's actually 2 lines there. So if I'm answering one, I can ask, and I get another ring, I can ask the other individual to hold, take the first order and get back to the second. So, but what was happening the first week is that, and many of you might have seen this, that we had an event, I think, in the Magnolia Room one day. So then the order taker was actually in the Calabogie, and it was busy for lunch, and it was confusing for members, and it did create a lot of buzz around what's going on here. It just seems to be a little bit too much for everybody, the member experience and the employee experience. But I do think that has calmed down quite a bit. And that's sort of, I'm just alluding to the second bullet here. We've got feedback that the lunch hours are particularly hectic, and when we had that individual standing at the host station with a phone, taking to-go orders, that wasn't the best experience for you, and it wasn't the best experience for the the employee. So we've certainly shifted that and are ensuring that they have some dedicated away time to be able to focus on the orders. And it sort of leads into the third bullet. Initially, there was confusion that the person on the phone was also doing the seating. It wasn't intended to happen. There was some confusion around that, so we've since, once again, pulled that individual away from the podium in the Calabogie during lunch. They're stationed in the Magnolia. You shouldn't run into that anymore. And then we got feedback that reservations can only be made between 10 and 2, where in the past you pretty much had all day up to 4 o'clock to do your reservations. So I'm gonna just hover here for a minute because the reason, there's a few things that are happening and that are in play that are actually gonna make things smoother for you eventually, but we're sort of in the middle of some change here. So the reason that we did 10 to 2 is that because with the POS, point of sale system, we have to get all the orders in the system to get them fired into the kitchen, and they fire a little after 2. So the kitchen knows exactly what to prep and can get it cooked, and then we can start packaging, so then you can start picking it up by 4 o'clock. So when you're doing 50, 75, 100 to-go orders, you do need a window of time to be able to get all that cooked, ready to go and packaged. So that's why the 2 o'clock. Also, we're going to be going with online reservations. So while there's pressure now with that 10 to 2 window without taking orders, eventually is going to, I'm thinking that 50% of our members, up to 50% of our members are going to go online and make reservations. Not everybody's going to want to do it. Some are still going to call. There's flexibility, you can do it either way, but I do feel that it's going to take a lot of pressure off the reservation system. And that's going to be coming soon, and I'll share a little bit about that in some slides here today. So what are some of the things that we're doing with this feedback? I shared that we're taking the reservations in the Magnolia Room specifically for that. There's currently two phone lines in place, and we're exploring voicemail. we're exploring voicemail. We're a little hesitant about voicemail because if somebody calls it after the window's closed, if they're gonna get a reservation, it could cause some problems. So right now our goal is, if we miss your call, if you're the third or fourth call, and we don't get to it because we got somebody talking and then somebody on hold, they are following up with missed calls. So you should see a call back relatively soon because our staff is aware that they need to call folks back. And then we're gonna be activating the reservation functionality of the point of sale system, very similar to what we did with the go orders, and that's coming soon. Which rolls me right into the next slide. So I shared when we started talking about the full count point of sale system that those different phases that we were going to be rolling out. The initial phase was let's just get the point of sale system in, and then it was to go online ordering, which we did just a couple weeks ago, and now we're moving into phase 3, which is going to be the reservation system, which many of you may be familiar with if you use external restaurants, that you can go into OpenTable and make a reservation. So members are going to be able to manage, update, cancel, if need be, a reservation once you put it in. So there's a lot of functionality. You're really going to be able to manage your own reservation within specific guidelines that are set up within the system. So this is what's going to be taking place. The week of March 3rd, we're going to ask some of our members to test the reservation system. Zoran's going to be contacting some members to be able to make a reservation right in the system. We'll be able to see it. We'll be able to see the functionality, let us know if there's any glitches. And then the week of March 10th, we're gonna work on member and staff education. So lessons learned from the to-go ordering, where we did some tutorials here, we had some handouts, we made it live. We're gonna spend a week ahead of the launch doing some education and learnings for everybody, so that you're more comfortable when it does go live. And then the week of the 17th, we're gonna go live with the reservation system. So we're literally just a few weeks away, 2.5 weeks away from launching the reservation system. Then once that is in play, and we'll get more information out, I'm thinking many of our members are gonna go in and make reservations, and that it'll take some pressure off the 10 to 2 time frame, and things will smooth out somewhat. So this was, let me dig down just a little bit. So as I shared, once you're in that application, full count, and if you're in there now, right next to online ordering, there's another tab that says reservations. We'll make that live on the 17th. You'll be able to go in, pull up your name, submit a reservation, the time and the restaurant. If you need to edit it, add some folks to it, cancel it, you'll be able to do that all online if you've made that initial reservation. These are some of the functionality within it. Date, time, party size. There may be a limit on party size, so we're thinking anything over 6 we're probably gonna hold on to for now so we can manage that experience. We'll get information on that. So if you have a larger party, you're gonna need to call for a reservation. And if you're in the system, so say we have 20 seats allocated for 6 o'clock in this dining room, and 18 seats are taken, and you have a party of 4 that you want to bring in, it's not going to allow you to make that reservation for a party of 4. You're going to have to find another time slot to be able to do that. So it's not going to allow us to overbook a specific time frame for reservation. A little bit more information. Once you submit a reservation, once you submit it, it's going to appear under the My Reservation tab. And then you're going to get an email notification. As long as you've registered your email. We're going to do some training sessions ahead of the rollout. So the week of the 10th, we're going to do some training and education sessions. And we already got a reference guide that is set up that we'll be able to use for the online reservations. So a little bit more coming. for the dining experience, but this is a big one. I think the reservation component is a really big one. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit. I shared that we're going to do another tutorial for online ordering. I'm going to invite, if you remember the last meeting we had James Bond. I'm going to invite him back up. Mr. Bond?
Yep.
Yeah, mouse.
No. I'm gonna try and
So this is the login to Full Count. Like Michael said, if you don't exit out of Full Count after you place your order, when you reopen it, that's what it looks like. Because I helped Mrs. Lieberman with that yesterday, and I think it was you, somebody, a couple people. I'll just tell them. But they have to go back to their original app, like that arrow in the upper left-hand corner, go back out or exit out with that if you see that.
okay, so what I'm gonna try to do over here, I'm gonna actually try to record what I'm doing, and I know the whole session's being recorded and it's gonna be on TV, but I'm gonna actually record my screen, just like Michael did in an initial stage when he was introducing the account overview. So I hope I got it working, so hopefully we'll be able to have this recording saved and also published for you to access at any point as a bit of a tutorial. So just to get us started, I'm going to log in, as you all already do.
Sorry, log into the app first and then you go to Full Count. You don't log in there.
Not sure what you're referring to, but all right, here we go. So this is my overview, and I can see my current balance, meals left, and all that kind of stuff. And then ordering cart is right over here. So we're going to start the process as we mentioned last time. At this screen, we can already check if we already have some orders scheduled to verify that our order is in or not, or we can click on this tab and to get started and place our order. Department selection will automatically be selected as Calibook. That doesn't change and doesn't affect your process, so we'll just gonna click on that and continue to the next step. At this point, we can over here see a little arrow, that's a drop-down menu. We can choose one of the two options, takeout or delivery. In this case, I'm just gonna select takeout, and there is my name. And right underneath, we see add customer. That's what Michael kind of referred to, one of the issues that we've seen and questions that we've been asked. How do we order for a spouse or additional resident or a guest? And that's what we can do over here. So James Bond shares unit with Mr. Purr. And then we can select Mr. Purr or we can select a guest. So I'm gonna just select a guest, and then I'm going to continue to the next step. The next step we have the opportunity to have an overview of all the menus that are available, including our always available items, as well as salads and sides. And then we have current menu, that's for today. So if I'm going to place a dinner order, I will just select Thursday dinner menu and select the items. So here's one of the challenges that we've seen before, which is once we find an item that we want to order for our dinner, for instance, Southwest chicken, when we get to this screen, this is where we have to confirm our selection. This screen allows us to change the quantity as well as to input any comments or specific notes that you would like us to pay attention to. If you want a small portion, if you want a large portion, or if you want a sauce on the side or anything like that, can be added in this special request field. So once you click there, you see the cursor, and you can literally type any in your own words if there's any specific requirement. Once we do that, then we have to confirm over here that we're adding this item to the cart. And now, as you can see the cart, and you see a little number, it says 5 over there. So now we're wondering, why is it 5, right? So when I click on that cart, we can see the moment we start ordering, there will be automatically, for one person, automatically there will be 2 items in the cart. One item is being your meal credit, and the second item is that takeout fee. So you start ordering process, there's already 2 items in your cart. And then as you add in items, you should see that little number. If I go back to menus, you see this little number changing on that cart. So now I already have 5. Since I had 2 people, that's already 4 items. Before we even started adding items to the cart, we already have 4 items there. We added 1 soup and we're currently at 5. Now, if I go here and I actually change my mind, I don't want the chicken soup. You see over here, there's a pen, we can add it. It's gonna bring us back to that same screen where we started to select this item. So if I forgot to put a note that I wanted a small soup, or, like I said, if I want to completely change my mind and I want to delete it, there's a little trash can, and I'm just going to delete that soup. Now the challenge that we've seen is when people come to this section, they open the menu, they look at the item, and just go back. And then people go here and click submit. And so, when we look, view receipt, we still see a receipt, right? We see a gas meal charge, and we see a couple of fees, but there's no items there. So it seems as you've done everything right, you got your confirmation, but there's no items. And then, this is what we see. Once you call, and you're wondering where your order is, and I go to check what is going on. I go to transactions, and I say advanced search, today's date, origin, we say online ordering, we say Bond, James. This is what I see. All I see, all we know, that you placed the order, you got charged the meal credit, you got charged the takeout fee, but there's no items to put in your bag. So that's one of the challenges we've seen. So I hope this kind of clears it a little bit. So we'll go back to ordering. starting the process again. We got a Mr. Bond here. We'll select the type. We'll add a guest. We're going to move on to the next step, which is our menu selection. Now, as you can see over here on top of the screen, it says now ordering for Mr. Bond. And we're going to add a couple of items. And that's dinner for Mr. Bond. And now we want to add an order for Mr. Bond's guest. So drop down menu right here, and then we're going to change to guest. And then we're going to order dinner for our guest. As you can see, certain items, like the salad, will prompt you automatically to some additional selections. But then again, as I mentioned before, you still have the opportunity further down here to add additional instruction in your own words. Now we're happy with that salad. And then we're going to add an entree for our guest. And now we're ready to go. So now I'm going to click on the cart where it says checkout. And now I can see Bond James, Southwest chicken soup, Dijon pork chops. And our guest has a salad and a mahi entree. Everything looks great. And now I'm going to say right down here, submit the order. To finish the process, I'm going to click here on submit the order. Now, when we click on a view receipt, it's going to look a little different.
Yep.
Okay? So now we have that order done. We can close this. You all know you can type in your email address here to receive that confirmation in your email as well. Instead of just viewing it on that screen, if you put your email address, then it can be sent to you, and then you can come down here and show us that receipt so that we can follow up with their issues, which we hope we won't have moving forward. And now, again, from here, we can go back to my orders, and we can see I scheduled 2 orders for this evening. So this would be, again, your starting screen once you log in, once you're in your community app, and you hit on full count, and you click on orders, scheduled, or to start a new. 2 main tabs to get started. Okay? Thank you all very much. So what we did notice, and again, it's been a huge process. All these changes that we're going through, and as Michael kind of broke it down, there are different aspects that are affecting this whole process. And so when we embarked on this journey to implement some of these changes, we could anticipate certain issues arising, but what we're facing all of these issues arising. So it is a bit challenging. So we have the human factor, we have the technology aspect, and we have just the change itself as a factor that is affecting our efficiency at the moment. Changes for you all, changes for the team. A lot of our team members have never worked with this, anything like this. A lot of our team members have never worked with a POS at all. So there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of opportunities, unfortunately, for misses and for errors. But that's a human factor for the most part, and that's what we're working on. So it's going to take a little time, but we're getting there. There's also a technological aspect that comes with the experience. So our team, not being so experienced, at certain times maybe is not able to recognize some of the technical issues and not able to troubleshoot those technical issues. And therefore that leads to missed items or orders or stuff like that. So just like any other system, there's always some glitches and potential problems that can occur, but like I said, with the experience and with the education for our team, we'll be able to mitigate and minimize those errors. At the same time, I'm currently constantly working with the providers of the full count application and POS system, and we are recognizing and analyzing some errors that can be happening in the system. How can it work better for our community? Is every single item tied to a particular printer in the kitchen where it should be, and things like that. So it's, like I said, it's a lot of moving parts, and we really appreciate everyone's input and feedback on all of this, and that's all valuable information, how we can actually recognize where the problems are and fix it and mitigate those issues.
Thank you, Zoran.
Thank you.
And we certainly appreciate your patience. Thank you very much. So we're gonna go into questions. I know we had some questions that we're all thinking about. Did you wanna?
Yes, I couldn't wait to tell you this. My friend Patsy from Pittsburgh was here, and she's looking at, my friend Patsy from Pittsburgh was here. I don't know. My friend Patsy from Pittsburgh was here, and she hopes to find something like Tide Point up in Pittsburgh. She's looking around.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, that's a great compliment.
Yes.
She's not gonna find Tide Point up there, though. She's gonna have to come down here.
And she won't, because her family's up
Yeah.
there. The other thing I wanted to say is, we think your servers are absolutely wonderful. We like every one of them.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank
And I
you.
tell them
Yeah.
that.
We do too. Thank you. I'm gonna grab the mic from you. Can I have somebody help with the mic?
I filled out dinner last night, perfect. Lunch today, went through the whole thing, added with salmon. Wouldn't go. I couldn't find salmon.
I couldn't hear everything you were saying. Hold the mic up closer.
I filled out dinner last night perfect. I went to lunch today, wanted a Caesar salad with salmon. I added that in the little thing with salmon. Nothing came out salmon. Looked for salmon, couldn't find it. That was good.
So you couldn't find it on your receipt,
I
or?
couldn't find a receipt, and I couldn't find a way to get salmon on the salad.
Okay.
Online or?
Online?
Yes.
Yeah. So Zoran was taking a note on that. Joey will take the microphone.
I will show it, yeah.
Anybody else have a question?
Oh, I just,
All right, hold on. Mr. Burton.
I got a comment. We got to do something about the bandwidth on getting onto the system. There are times when that just goes round and round and round. And people who are going to be frustrated, either got to extend the amount of bandwidth that we have.
Mm-hmm. Is that in the clubhouse that you're finding those
No,
challenges?
no, it's at home, or like if you got your cell phone with you, you say, I want to
Yeah.
call in, I'm having a problem with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's good feedback, and I think when we do the tech bar, it might be something good. Sometimes your cache is so overloaded, or your phone might not be updated. Are you using your phone?
Both.
Yeah,
the
okay.
iPad and the phone.
Okay. Or you might not have fully closed out prior, so it could be bandwidth, but it could be other things too, such as your cache hasn't been emptied in a while, which means you have too much data in there for it to continue to pull data, or you just made to make sure you're fully closed out. and then go back in. So try that too. Mr. Thompson had a question.
Thank you. When having lunch in the casual dining room, many people are thinking about an appointment they have shortly after dinner. We need a way to know how far am I through dinner. Very simply put, we need a clock, a wall clock in the casual dining room.
I know you shared that with me a couple
Yes,
times.
twice, yes.
I would just say we're not ready to pull the trigger on clocks in dining rooms everywhere in the building.
There are clocks available that don't need batteries, that don't need wires run through them. You just put it up, and I've got one in my home. 15 years.
I have a note on my desk
For 30
for
bucks,
that.
for 30 bucks, you could have a very nice clock in the casual dining room. That's my request.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
How about a wristwatch, Paul? How about a wristwatch?
He's got one.
People forget them.
We had one over.
When the food is delivered to a home, if there is an item missing, who do we call?
Sorry? A food item is missing from their order, who do they call? Is it the dining room, the host station? Yeah, call the dining room.
Okay.
That's never gonna happen again, though.
It's not gonna happen, yes.
Can we edit that out of the tape?
Is the goal still to have all to-go orders ready by 4:30?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, definitely the goal is for all our orders to be ready in between 4 and 4:30. We did experience some issues and certain days it was a little later. I do want to say that for lunch, instead of 11, we would like the pickup to be 11:30. And we will work on sending maybe additional communication on that. 11 o'clock is a little tight window, a little tighter than we thought due to amount of orders that we do actually see. So if possible, we will send additional communication to maybe change lunch pickup from 11 to 11:30. The time that we open the dining room, we can sort of guarantee that orders will be ready.
I forgot to say, this is so complicated, so I took that sheet that came out that you explained it, and I put it right on my kitchen counter underneath a transparent counter saver.
So it's been helpful. Well, that's good.
Very helpful.
Thank you. So while we're waiting for the next question, show of hands, are most people using online to-go ordering? Are you finding it overall generally?
It's great.
Yeah, overall. So just got some stuff to work out, some things to work out.
The app says there's no dinner service on Tuesday. Error.
Definitely.
So
Yeah, that's where the biggest, yeah.
they don't have next week's menus yet.
Okay, it just says that one night no dinner service.
Yeah, they're not in there yet.
We tend to update menus by end of the day, Thursday for the coming week.
It's not a menu, Zoran, it just says when you go in for dinner on Tuesday, no dinner service.
It says it's a
That's
buffet.
I'm sure it's an error.
Correct, yeah, that, like I said, you might be showing some inaccurate information
It's only one night.
before the end of today. Before the end of today, so tomorrow morning, all the menus will be updated for the following week.
As we wrap up today, I just wanted to share that we're gonna, I'm not gonna pull my slide deck back up, but we have Mingle with Mike coming up the second Thursday of March. And then on the 23rd of March, we're gonna be having a Sunday brunch buffet. So we'll get some information out around that. I know we didn't do any buffets in February, but we're gonna reignite that, and now that we have a chef, and get back into the swing of at least once a month having a buffet. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap up. We're a little over our time. Thank you very much, and you all have a good day.
Thank you.